Ever wonder what the shoulder patches worn on an Army uniform mean? The patch worn on the left shoulder is the unit the soldier is currently assigned to, and a patch on the right shoulder is that of the unit he or she served in combat with. This patch is important to soldiers and veterans because each of those colorful patches has a story behind it. When you become part of a military unit, you become part of its story, part of the history behind the patch. Hi, I'm Jim Bromley, and this is the Roving Historian channel. This is a short history of the 1st Cavalry Division, nicknamed the 1st Team during the Vietnam War. The 1st Cavalry Division was a veteran division of the Pacific Theater of World War II and the Korean War. They had also served as occupation troops in Japan and part of the American forces stationed in South Korea for that country's defense. In the spring of 1963, the 1st Team began to field helicopters and train in new airmobile tactics. In July 1965, the 1st Team was reorganized as the 1st Cavalry Division Airmobile and officially activated at Fort Benning, Georgia, out of personnel from the 11th Air Assault Division Test. 1 month later, the 1st Team was en route to Vietnam. In August of 1965, an advance party of the 1st Team flew into Ia Drang, Vietnam. The combat force of the 1st Cavalry Division Airmobile arrived by military sea transport in mid-September. By September 19th, elements of the 1st Team were already engaging the enemy in Operation Gibraltar, along with the 101st Airborne. The 1st Cavalry Division's first major operation was the Pleiku campaign, in which the division conducted 35 days of continuous airmobile operations. The opening battle of the campaign was the Battle of the Ia Drang Valley. The operation took place between November 14th and November 18th, 1965, and involved the 1st and 2nd Battalions of the 7th Cavalry and the 1st Battalion of the 5th Cavalry going against more than 3 North Vietnamese regiments and a Viet Cong battalion. The battle was the subject of the book We Were Soldiers Once and Young by Lieutenant General Harold G. Moore, retired, and journalist Joseph L. Galloway, and then depicted by the 2002 movie We Were Soldiers starring Mel Gibson. The 1st Team seemed to be everywhere in Vietnam. Most of 1967 was spent conducting Operation Pershing in the II Corps area. During the Tet Offensive, beginning January 30th, 1968, the division was in the I Corps tactical zone and was involved in recapturing Quang Tri and Hue. In March 1968, the division moved to relieve Marine units at the besieged combat base of Khe Sanh in Operation Pegasus. The 1st Team worked in the A Sha Valley during April and May of 1968, then in the fall moved to the III Corps tactical zone northwest of Saigon. In May 1970, the 1st Cavalry Division participated in the incursion into Cambodia. The 1st Cavalry Division withdrew from Cambodia on June 29, 1970. After that, the division remained in a defensive posture as offensive combat operations were turned over to the South Vietnamese forces and the withdrawal of U.S. forces continued. Much of the division was withdrawn from Vietnam on April 29, 1971, but the 3rd Brigade stayed until June 29th of 72, making the 1st Cavalry Division one of the final 2 ground combat units to leave the country and the longest-serving division patch in the Vietnam War. Before moving to their new home at Fort Hood, Texas, the 1st Team had sacrificed 5,444 troopers killed and 26,592 wounded in Vietnam. Today, the 1st Cavalry Division remains home-based at Fort Hood, Texas, and serves as part of the U.S. 3rd Corps. The 1st Team is a combined arms division with 3 of the Army's 10 Armored Brigade combat teams. During its history, the division has served as horse cavalry, infantry, airmobile, and now mechanized. The 1st Cavalry Division has earned its nickname as America's 1st Team by being the first to accomplish many great things. The division's motto is Live the Legend, and the cavalry troopers proudly march to the tune of an old Irish song that has become synonymous with the cavalry and is the exclamation of 1st Team pride, Gary Owen. If you'd like to see pictures of the 1st Cavalry Division when they still rode horses, there will be a link to our history of the 1st Cavalry Division during World War II at the end of this video. If you'd like to read about the 1st Cavalry Division in the Vietnam War, my book recommendation is to read We Were Soldiers Once and Young by Hal Moore and Joe Galloway. It's another classic of military history that was recommended reading when I was in the Army. The movie, in its Hollywood fashion, only covers part of the story. The book also deals with the tragedy of LZ Albany, which is worth a video on its own, and it is a must-read. An Amazon affiliate link to We Were Soldiers is in the description below, and I'll put a link to the movie as well. If you enjoyed this History Behind the Patch video, I hope you'll hit the like button or leave us a comment. Swing by the channel to find out more, and please subscribe so you won't miss out on future videos, and help us build our channel. Finally, and always, rate, review, and share what you enjoy reading. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.